It's just after 9 o'clock Saturday evening, July 30th, and this is Montana. That is the down here to the right is the St. Mary River, and I take it this body of water here next to it is I don't know if it's called the St. Mary Lake or what, but again the river is just right over here on the right. I actually had crossed the river there on Route 89 coming in. Went over it, and then it's another one of them deals where there was a gravel road pull off to the right, and I trying to think if I had to turn. I think I might have had to go down the road, turn around, and come back again to check it out. And yeah, it proved to be a pretty good looking spot to camp. There's the setup for the night, and the road is literally just right up there over the hillside. Thankfully, we're up close enough to the bank to where I can hear the cars go by and catch glimpses of the cars on this side of the road, but you really can't see them that well, and I don't think they can see us down here, so that's always nice. So yeah, once I checked this out, I wasn't convinced this was the spot, and I knew I was close to Glacier, so I did go ahead and roll on down to Glacier, and I went up in there to the first campground, and it was reservations only. And I just went ahead, and there's a picnic table right there where you pull in, and I went in and sat there on the picnic table for a few minutes, and just looking up some stuff on the park and the camping situation and all that. And thankfully, all the campgrounds aren't reservation only. And I talked to a ranger. I guess that's what she was. Somebody who works for the Park Service anyhow. She'd seen me sitting over there, and she stopped and asked if I needed anything, and just asked her about the road to the sun and the camping situation and all that. And I got some really good tips from her, because Lori, I'd had Lori get on the trying to get my pass to drive the road to the sun, and they just fill up really quickly, and just wasn't proven being able to. And but the cool thing, and Lori had told me this, she said if you have a camping reservation, if you have a campsite, you don't need the permit, and which is ideal. So talking to this ranger tonight, she had said the same thing. So she had two things she had said also. She had said again the where you have to have reservations to go across the park on Road to the Sun is from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. So you could either come in before or after, which if I had to, I'd be willing to roll through there at like 5:45 in the morning, but I shouldn't have to, God willing. She had told me about a campground that was just down a few miles down the road in the park there, and said that if I get there at like 8 or 9 in the morning, and with folks leaving, or there might be availability for a campsite, so that's worth a try, and that is actually my plan. God willing, I plan to be there just before 8, and hang out, whatever I've got to do, and try to get a campsite. And if I get one, I'm gonna go ahead and reserve it for 2 nights, tomorrow night and the next night, and that way I can put the tent up and unload a whole Zeke, and we'd be free to ride, lightweight, and we'd have a couple days to hang out there in the park, and again go across the Road to the Sun and up the Logan Pass and all that good stuff. So we shall see. Today's ride, I just checked my mileage. I'm just right under 133, like 132.8. So we'll call it 133 miles for today. It's just after 9 o'clock, and been a nice ride down here today. Just in general, just a nice in Waterton today, the hanging out and the running around that I did there in town. The park visitor center, and walked around town there for just a few minutes and rode around town. Sat there at the lake this morning, right there on the I guess you'd call it the beach there, Pebble Beach. And before that too, I had stopped at the Cameron Falls that are right in town and absolutely beautiful. And then a little bit later rode up to Canyon Lake, or Cameron Lake, which was a happening spot, just a big old alpine lake right there and down below the mountains. A really cool scenic area, and gazillion people, people swimming, canoeing, and all that. But took some pictures and went ahead and rolled on, and it was definitely just a beautiful ride up there and a beautiful ride out. And along that same lines, I had been told about Red Rock Canyon, and that I had to check it out. So I rode up into Red Rock Canyon as well, and again, it was just absolutely packed. The parking was, and again, just people everywhere. So I just chalked it up as a beautiful ride up and back out, and just called it. Went ahead and called it. I had seen Waterton, got there again about 7 o'clock yesterday evening, and this was like 3:30 when I went ahead and rolled on out. But I tell you something too that was cool though. A couple things. When I first went to got off the main drag there and went to roll up into Red Rock Canyon, bear across the road, like right in front of me, and I thankfully got the GoPro going. And I startled him. I think he seemed real casual, like he was just going across the road. But then when he saw me, he bolted. But I got a little bit of footage of him. And, I tell you, I'm not convinced whether it was a small grizzly or a light colored black bear. There are cinnamon colored black bears, and it wasn't like that light. It was more like a dark rust color. So I'm not sure. I'm really not. I'm gonna have to look at the footage sometimes there in the GoPro. But then that said, again, when I was leaving after the canyon and I got back up on the main drag, there where I saw the both the black bear and the grizzly last night, there's a black bear again. And I don't know if it's the same one or not, because this one also had a bit more of the rust color to it, and the one last night looked black. It was last night. It was today was sunny. Yesterday evening, that storm was coming in, and it was pretty dark and cloudy. I don't know if that makes up for the color difference, because to be right in that same area, part of me at first thought, well, it's got to be the same bear, but now I'm not convinced. So either way, that was 2 more bear today. So which would be like 11 black bear and 3 grizzly if the one was a grizzly, or 12 black bear and 2 grizzlies still. So either way, a bear is a bear, and I love them all. I love seeing them. What a bonus and what a blessing. I tell you too, first thing this morning, once I left that campsite outside of just outside of the park, I think technically too that area was still the park. It's just another road, just not within that main section. But I do feel like some of that was park property. But there's also some private property up in there too, now I think about it, because I did see cattle. But still though, first thing when we rolled back into the park this morning, we went up to the lodge, and it's the oh man, I was going to say Prince Charles. I don't think it's Prince Charles. I took pictures of it. I'm sorry. Prince of Wales? Oh man, I don't remember now. But anyhow, big, beautiful, historic lodge. And I even had noticed, there before I left when I was taking pictures, it said it was like a, one of them, like a national historic site, something like that, which I could see why. I mean, it's just beautiful. But too, it was cool. I got to eat breakfast in there, breakfast with the view of the mountains and the big old lake there, whatever that main lake is, which I should know spending that time there, and it is the main lake and the main view and everything. But I don't remember what the lake itself is called. It might actually be called Waterton Lake. The town is Waterton, that is just over the hill from the lodge. So maybe it is Waterton Lake. I'm not sure. Something else I need to look up. But regardless, had a good buffet meal. It was affordable. It was like $18.69, which I was really, after my last dinner at Glacier up at the lodge, that buffet I had that evening, it was like $50, and I was expecting something much more expensive. But think about it, Glacier, that was their prime rib dinner buffet. And so I've done there at the north rim of the Grand Canyon, I did the breakfast buffet there, and it probably, I still feel like it was probably more. It might have been like 30 or something, but who knows? Maybe it was only about 20. I don't remember. I probably had said maybe back when, when I was there. Let's see. Beautiful day though, sunny, warm. People, I left out some folks from yesterday when I was there at Lumbrick at Obie's, I think it was, at the store, hanging out there for those few hours. Met some other riders, a young couple from Calgary, and I believe his name was Steve and hers was Lynn. And I'm not sure what they were riding, but they were decked out in the gear, and they came inside there to the little restaurant area, and I spoke to them for a few minutes, and just seemed like a pleasant young couple, just nice people to talk to. And hers, she had made a comment about it being her maiden voyage, I guess. Riding with him, it sounded like. She had on, I guess, her new gear, and all that. So that was cool. They were out because I'd ask them, if they were riding separate bikes or, riding together, and they were riding together. And I was telling them about wanting to get, my woman riding as well. But it was great to meet you guys. And like I said, just seemed like good folks for sure. And then that said, I met some nice couple today when I was back in, the road where I turned off to come down here to the border crossing. I should have checked this before I started talking. I'm bad for that. But anyhow, it's where Route 5 hits. Was it Route 2 that come down here, I believe? Maybe? The last little town there in Alberta that I was in. But there was a Husky gas station there, and I got some food, and I was sitting outside charging my devices while I was eating, and talking to different folks there, about my adventure and everything. People always comment on the bike and everything. But there was a young couple that I got talking to there. His name is James, and her name was Britt. And he had an accent, and I guess it was an English accent, because he said his dad is still in the UK, and was telling me about some of the riding that his dad does. Said his dad has a Triumph Tiger, which are just really nice bikes, and then also I think maybe some BMW, but it sounds like he does some adventure riding there around Europe. But James was just a sharp young man, and his wife Britt was just very pleasant. And I was telling him, again about my adventure and about my YouTube channel, and he got real kind of excited when I told him that. He said his kids would love it, and he said his kids would even say that he met somebody famous. They think YouTubers are famous. So I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, it was great to meet you guys, and they said they have 3 kids. So hey kids, your parents seem like they are super cool and just definitely just good people. And so it was a pleasure to meet you all, and just God bless you guys, and I wish you the best, and hope you're watching and you continue to follow along. Okay, I think that might be about it for the night. I just got saw some type of a notice there on the top of my phone. I thought it was going to say I was out of memory, but I think my battery's about dead is what it had flashed, or the percentage I'm getting down to. So I definitely need to charge it. I tell you, man, this whole technology thing, keeping up with, again, trying to have, enough memory and battery power. Again, I am just that's just an ongoing kind of a battle, so to speak. That's all part of it. And there's probably better ways of doing it. Maybe my next trip, God willing, I'll have it figured out, whether it be solar maybe or something, or in bigger memory to start with, and just all that stuff. There's definitely, I'm sure, ways around all that. But I'm getting it done. That's the main thing, and it's worked out just fine. So again, wow. So again, like I said, I'm just right next to the road. But yeah, I mean, it's worked out just fine. It just takes a little bit of thought and work as far as getting things plugged in and utilizing the power and the internet and all that stuff that I continue to talk about. talk to my wife, a couple times a day. Unfortunately, Lori is home not feeling so well. And babe, I love you, and I'm praying much for you. Thankfully, she does not have COVID. She took a COVID test this evening, tested negative, so that's a blessing. And I guess before I ramble on and I do run out of memory, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. So what is it? Again, next to the last day of July, which is pretty wild. It's amazing, absolutely amazing to be back in the States and to be in Montana, one of my all-time favorite states. And again, just outside of Glacier, truly one of my favorite parks. It's a place that I've been to. I think this would be my third time, maybe. Yeah, and I love the park. Dad and Uncle James the first time, and then my brother John with us this last time. But that's been like 12 years ago. This September will be 12 years ago since we did that trip. So I haven't been back here since. So it's definitely due time. But again, to see it on the motorcycle, to ride my old horse Zeke through the park is something I'm definitely anticipating. That road to the sun is unbelievable, and I'm sure I'm sure some of you folks have experienced it as well, and you know what I'm talking about. But again, on a motorcycle, it should be really neat. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a night. So God bless you all, and thanks for watching, and good night.